On my last trip to Glacier National Park, I was told there was a lake in the park where you could catch 40-inch pike. My personal best at the time was only 32 inches, so this was one of my motivations to come back to my favorite national park and fishery. One nice thing about this lake was that a road followed the shore, so I was able to shuttle my bike down to the foot, then bring my truck back to the head so I could fish the length of the lake and bike back to my truck later. Another nice thing about this lake is there's no boat landing, so us pack rafters get the lake to ourselves. My first day on this lake, I fished in a calm bay near the head of the lake, and it didn't take long to get into a couple pretty nice pike. You can only carry so big of a net on a one-man inflatable kayak, and I quickly realized that net was not going to do me any good with these pike. Now, pike have razor-sharp teeth. They can slice up your fingers. They're slippery. I really didn't want a treble hook in my hand, so I guess that's what they make a fish grabbers for. Now, northern pike are native to Glacier National Park, and fishing regulations for the park say you do have to let all native fish go. So I was careful to get this fish quickly over to the shore so I could get a measurement on it, 38 inches, personal best, and snap a quick pic. Not enough time to make sure it was in focus, unfortunately, and then let Mr. Pike on his merry way to live long and prosper. At the end of the day, I ended up catching 3 pike in the high 30s, which was awesome. It's the 3 biggest pike I've ever caught, but they are not 40 inchers. And I was told there's 40-inch pike in this lake. So despite only having so many days of my vacation and having to fight a little bit of wind and rain, I had to go back. And I started trolling the shorelines looking for that 40-incher. Then all of a sudden, I hit something so heavy, I thought I was caught on a rock. The low-vis fluorocarbon I was using is only a 6-pound test, which means if this fish is as big as I hope it is, I have to be really careful not to yank too hard. I have to give him a little bit of drags and let him run. First glimpse of them, He looks close enough I could almost reach out and grab him, but I know it's not going to be that easy. He's got a lot of fight left in him. I mean, I can see him. He's right there, but still, I cannot move him. He is moving me. So I decide I'm going to try a one-handed paddle thing and see if I can paddle over to a beach I can see where I can deal with this guy. Even with a kayak paddle, I still cannot move this fish. So I guess it is just me, him, and the wind, and we'll see where it blows us and who runs out of steam first. Now I can see that my steel leader is wrapped around his head, as well as my fishing line, 6-pound fluoro, and that's concerning because pike have sharp gills, or the line could go across his mouth, and one little yank of his head and this fight's over. As we're getting blown into this little bay, so is the water from this lake, and it's flooding the shoreline almost like mangroves, and now I see that there's trees and debris down on the shoreline, and I need to get this fish contained soon, because if he gets wrapped around some debris, again, this fight is all over. That lure is pretty far back in his mouth, but I'm not sticking my hands in there. I like my fingers. I do have to get that lure out though, so I can try to release this guy alive. Not sure what to do, and since I don't have a net the same size of my kayak, well, I guess he's coming in the boat with me. So now to untangle him, remove the lure, get a photo, and release him alive, but not before I find out how big the biggest fish I've ever caught is. "43 inches.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a giant pike, 43 inches, native, so you have to let him go. It was a hell of a time getting him to shore and keeping him alive so I could get a good measurement on him, but he's still healthy and happy, and he's going to go swim to make some more pike and eat some more little fish, and hopefully someone else can catch him, but that is a giant 43-inch pike. Glacier National Park, Montana, northern pike, native species. that was a fun fight. About a 20-minute fight. I thought I was snagged at first. I couldn't move him. He started shaking his head. And when I realized how big he was, it wasn't going to go very well just to grab him. So I tried to work my way over to shore, and one hand holding the rod, one hand trying to paddle. And it was like I couldn't move him. I was trying to paddle towards shore. He was trying to go the opposite direction. We were just sitting there stalemate with the wind tossing us around. Finally just let the wind blow us all the way into shore. Got him close to the boat. He was tired out enough that I was able to hook grabbers on his mouth and paddle him over to this beach here so I could deal with him a little better. But 43 inches long, about 18 inches in the girth, 17 and a half. That is a big pike, personal best. Beat my personal best by a foot with that one, and ran out of SD card space on the GoPro when I was trying to set him loose. But man, that was cool. That was a sweet fight, a sweet pike. Native fish, you gotta let them go. So I think I'll probably have a replica made after that one. Let's go get another one. Woo!
And I did get another one between the rainstorms. How is this one going to stack up against a 43 incher? I never got to find out. I thought I could just forego the fish grabbers and reduce the abuse on the creature. Getting blown into the shoreline in the grass, I thought that might help contain the fish just right next to me while I got out, took a measurement, and got a photograph. But that decision just resulted in a quick release with no measurement, no photograph. We'll never know how big this one was. I'd have to guess around 40 inches, but not exceeding the 43 incher that I had just caught. And I actually almost caught back up to him and got one more look and chance to grab him, but ended up just watching him swim away, happy as could be, ready for the next fisherman to catch him.